I'm telling you guys, this paint, oh, the coverage is just absolutely, like there's no words. Hey everybody, welcome back to Furniture Flipping Teacher. I'm Lauren, and it is already day 10 of the 12 days of Flipmas. We are going to be tackling this mid-century dresser that I got at Goodwill for just $30. I couldn't pass it up, although it does have something wrong with it that I typically do not go for, but we're going to tackle it in this video, so let's get to it. First things first, we are gonna go ahead and remove the hardware on this dresser. Someone put regular cabinet poles on this dresser, which I personally feel like these belong on like kitchen cabinets or something like that. They are a bit more modern, but I really don't think that it goes along with the mid-century vibe of this dresser. So I'm gonna take these off and set them aside, possibly use them for another project, but most likely I will donate them to a thrift store or the Habitat for Humanity restore. Now that the hardware is removed, I am going to be using some simple green to clean the dresser. It's pretty dirty, there's some stickers on it, so we want to get all of that removed so that our paint can adhere to the surface. I am now going to use some water here to just rinse off the surface that I sprayed the simple green. That way we can get all that cleaning residue off. Before I get the stickers off of these front 2 or 3 drawers and on the side there, I'm gonna work on this top drawer real quick. I actually want to strip it back and keep it a natural wood color. So I am going to be testing out a product that I tested out a couple of videos ago, and that furniture just really wasn't the right fit for it. But I'm hoping that this furniture, this piece is the right fit for it. So we're gonna go grab my QCS by Stripwell. All right, so like I said, I have tried to use this just on one other piece of furniture, and this is made specifically for like vintage pieces. So my only outcome or a takeaway from the last time I used it was that I just didn't use it on the right type of furniture. And QCS is made by a company called Stripwell. They actually have a YouTube channel that tells you so much great information about their product and what pieces it will be good for and so on and so forth. So if it doesn't work the first time, don't get frustrated. It is a great product. I've seen so many awesome creators use it and they swear by it for specific pieces. So I am going to give it a go on this specific piece and this drawer. I'm gonna try it on the drawer first, and if it works, then we're also gonna probably try and do it on the base. All you gotta do is spray it on a pretty liberal amount, but not too much. You don't want it to like puddle or pool. But once it sits on there for about 15 minutes, you're gonna recoat it. Then about 15 minutes later, you're going to try and see if anything comes off. You're probably wondering, oh my gosh, Lauren, what in the world are you doing? You're not wearing gloves, you're not wearing a mask, you're not wearing goggles, you're inside, there's no ventilation. Don't worry, it's okay. QCS actually is specifically made to be able to be used indoors. There's no chemicals along with it. It has a little bit of a scent, but it's not like a chemical scent or an overwhelming scent that's bad for you to breathe in. So you can use this all year round, even if you're trapped and cooped up inside your house or inside a garage. So I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes, and then in the meantime, we are gonna continue cleaning this dresser. So not only do we wanna get the surface of the dressers, you also wanna make sure and get the insides too, because chances are people have not cleaned the inside of their furniture and it's gonna be pretty dusty. See what I mean? Definitely necessary. This is where I was talking about that there's something wrong with this dresser that I typically try to avoid. The drawer pull the slide inside of the dresser is broken, so we're gonna fix it. Well, we're gonna replace it. Okay, so this is something I've never done before. We're gonna attempt it. So I went on Amazon and I found some drawer slides. I found a pack of 2, and I'm only needing to replace the bottom portion because this new one will fit inside the bottom side of the old drawer slide. So we only need to replace what is broken. So that means that I can set this part aside, but if you need to replace both, then it does come in a pack that goes together, one for the drawer bottom and then one for the like actual space where it slides into. So set that aside. And then first things first, we have to remove this guy here, and it's glued on. So I'm going to try my best and like pry it off there. Not sure. Okay, that was a little bit easier than I thought. Okay, perfect. So now we need to put this new guy in there, and I've got some wood glue. Scrape all that old gunk off there. This is why the old one is not gonna work anymore. The whole entire side was busted off, so it just kind of pops out. The drawer does not stay in as it's supposed to. So this one should do the trick. I just have to make sure that I get it in the correct spot here and that it is straight. All right, so there is the spot. I'm gonna grab my wood glue now and get this thing glued. All right, there we go. And honestly, over the past couple of years of doing the whole furniture flipping thing, I have been a little bit intimidated by changing out the drawer slides, but if it's just like this one, it's really not that difficult. So maybe now and in the future flips, I will stop letting the drawer slides intimidate me, and I will go for more pieces of furniture that maybe have some broken drawer slides that just need to be replaced or fixed up just a tad bit. All right, we're moving and grooving on this baby. So now that we have the repairs done and that's drying, and then the top drawer is still drying, or not drying, but working, I am going to move on to the other 3 drawers and the base of the dresser. For these 3 drawers, we're gonna be painting them, but there is a bit of some failing finish, so I wanna make sure to get all that smoothed out so that later on we're not having flaky paint. And then also the sanding will help with the adhesion of the paint that I'm gonna be using. I'm just using a 120 grit. I'm not really gonna try to get down to bare wood, but in some places I might get down to bare wood just because of that failing finish. Like I said, we need to get that off there completely and make sure it is all smooth and ready for paint. So I sort of ended up going through the finish anyway. It was super, super thin, and it was just really, really failing. So we got it all smoothed out though, so I'm just wiping back the dust, and then I'll also go ahead and scuff sand the base of the dresser. Okay, time to take these legs off so that I can work on them without them being attached to the actual dresser. I see some bolts right here, so I am going to untwist these. I'm pretty sure that this is what the legs are screwed into, and then we'll get those removed. Sweet, so it kind of all comes apart, which is gonna be really awesome for stripping it down and sanding these legs. And then these back ones aren't attached to the front ones. Make sure to keep all the hardware. So I'm just going to, I think these just untwist so we can work on those separately as well. Okay, let's test the drawer to see if the stripper is working. That way we can also, well, you know what? I don't even think this is the same wood as that top drawer. I was going to use the stripper on the drawer or on the legs, but I think I'm just gonna take my sander and go ahead and sand those down by hand. And then if it's not the same color, we'll think about like trying to match that top color of the top drawer. So let's check and see if the stripper has done its job. I am pretty sure it is working because holy cow, there is a lot of color discoloration and like kind of the color. I can see it working, you guys. Okay, so what you need is a scraper. You can use a metal scraper, but just be careful not to gouge or scratch the veneer that you are taking it against. And then you're also going to need some towels. You're also going to need a steel wool pad for the end. I'm gonna get this ready. And then for me, I like to have a little container to kind of scoop it into. You don't need to use mineral spirits to kill the chemical reaction because there is no chemical reaction that is happening. So that is a plus. So I'm just gonna start from here, sort of go across and see what we've got going on. So that finish is coming off. So this is an example of the QCS working and doing its job. So that tells me that this piece of furniture was in the right time period for what this stuff was made for. And then the reason that you need the steel wool is for the last step, you want to kind of soak it with the QCS itself. And then you're going to take it and just kind of go in a circular motion to help get the rest of that finish off of the surface. Then this just has easy cleanup with some water, or I'm just using a dry cloth to wipe up the leftover QCS. So this is great for if you have a thin layer of veneer like I do on this drawer and you don't want to bust through it when you're sanding. This is a perfect product to use because, again, there's no VOCs, there's everything about it is perfectly safe for you to use indoors. No gloves, no glasses, none of that. And the cleanup is probably my favorite part because it's not all goopy and gross. It is just clean up with a little bit of water or even just a damp towel. So we're gonna let this dry aside. And in the meantime, we're gonna start painting the base of the dresser here. I'm gonna be using the color Ocean Shore by Lily Moon Paint in their Opulent formula, which has the both primer and top coat built in. So I am ready to go ahead and just paint right on the surface here. I don't need to prime because this paint has it built in. I'm gonna be using this oval brush, which you can also grab on Lily Moon's website, and you can also use my code FFT10 for 10% off of your entire order. They've got so many great products. You guys, if you haven't tried this paint, this is imperative that you try it out because you're not going to, you don't want to miss out basically. You won't regret it. I won't steer you wrong. I promise this paint is amazing. A little bit goes a long way. I probably won't even use close to half of this whole 16-ounce jar on this dresser. This is a very pretty gray blue paint. Look at that amazing coverage just on the first coat. Oh, this paint just goes on seriously smooth like butter. So this top is actually laminate, which is why I went ahead and scuff sanded it anyway. You can definitely paint laminate. There's nothing wrong with that. You just need to make sure to roughen it up so that that paint has something to adhere to. And then this paint here also has an adhesion primer. So that's also going to aid in it adhering to this laminate surface. The laminate is just going to be a bit more slick than just like a wood top would be, but don't let it scare you away. It can be painted too. I'm telling you guys, this paint, oh, The coverage is just absolutely, like, there's no words. All right, first coat is done on everything now, so let's let that dry for a while. In the meantime, we can go ahead and sand down the legs and the base of the dresser to see what we've got going on with that and how we are going to help it match the top drawer. I'm gonna be using a 120 grit with my Surf Prep sander here to sand back the finish of these 4 legs and the little front base plate. So just as I suspected, these are a lighter wood than the top drawer, which I'm keeping that color. So now it is my duty to try and match these legs to that top drawer color. So this is the drawer that I'm talking about, and the color of it is completely different than the current legs. So I am going to be taking Lily Moon's Tennessee Whiskey and hoping that this color will match. And if it's not 100% correct, it will be at least close enough. I've used the Tennessee Whiskey several times, and it's probably one of my go-to gel stains from Lily Moon paint. It is just the most, like, I don't know, it's just like the perfect brown. So I'm hoping that it'll match pretty closely to that. And all I'm gonna do is take some of the gel stain and put it onto the leg here, and then take a lint-free cloth and basically just rub it in. This is water-based, so I absolutely love the fact that it is very easy cleanup because it is water-based. And I'm gonna just rub this on all over the leg here. It doesn't smell. There's so many benefits to using water-based gel stain versus oil-based gel stain. So it's not quite as orangey, but I think that it matches with especially like the darker sections of the drawer here. I'm gonna call it good. And it's gonna be so far away from each other that I think if it's not an exact match, it will at least be close enough. So I went ahead and applied some of the Tennessee Whiskey gel stain over the top of the top drawer veneer here, just to tone down that orangey tone just a tad bit. And I think now we're much closer to the color that is gonna match the legs a lot better. Let's do coat number 2 on the rest of the dresser. So I had done some spot filling just real quick on the fronts of these drawers. There were a couple of dents, so I wanted to cover those. I used my Bondo spot glazing putty, and now it's dry, so I'm gonna sand it back. And then now that I've got those sanded back, I'm just gonna take a very fine rad pad and go over the entire surface where I've painted to just knock back any possible texture. So I think this dresser was used as a kid's dresser before I got it. The stickers on the front and this lining here in the drawers, but it's not really matching my design style, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. It's just contact paper. I'm kind of hoping that it's not gonna be sticky underneath, but it feels like it kind of is gonna be, which kind of stinks, but this paper has gotta go. Time to put these legs back on. Okay, just gotta put the hardware in. What a transformation! Sometimes all it takes is just a little bit of paint and some hard work and you can get a completely different look with a piece of furniture. I'm really glad that I ended up keeping this drawer with the natural wood. I just did add a little bit of this stain to tone down the oranginess a little bit, but that strip well really helped me not bust through the very thin veneer. So if you're interested in using the strip well product, the QCS, which is going to strip back some finishes, especially on vintage pieces within the 1950s to 1970s, there will be a link down below for you guys, and you can use my code FFT10 to get 10% off of your order over on Stripwell's website. Neiman and I are in a little debacle. Which color would you have for the hardware? I personally like this gold color. He thinks I should spray paint them black or change them out with some black hardware. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I guess the true test will be when I post these over on Facebook Marketplace. Well, not these, but this piece over on Facebook Marketplace. I got it for $30 at Goodwill. When I saw the legs and I knew it was mid-century, I just had to pick it up. So I'm gonna be posting it on Marketplace, probably around $300. It is a bit of a smaller dresser, but it does still have that mid-century feel and look. And so that really leads me to continue to post it a bit higher because these pieces are a little bit more in demand right now. All right, I'm gonna be kind of quick with this because it is really cold out here, but I just sold the dresser, you guys. I listed it this afternoon, sold it within about 6 hours. I listed it at $300. I originally got it for $30 and then put about $15 worth of materials, including hardware, paint, and stain, into the actual piece, so $45. So a total profit of $255. Sweet, just for another day's work. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you for day 11 of Flipmas, and I'll see you on the flip side.